Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all members, friends, and guests. My name is Mimi Hennessy and I have the pleasure of serving as your worship associate this morning. I'm an older woman of predominantly Irish extraction with the awful skin to match, of medium height and shrinking, wearing blue and turquoise, which, as several of you have pointed out, is pretty much the only color I own. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community of faith, connected by love, spirit, and service. We acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, the traditional caretakers of the lands and waters of this campus. With respect for the rights and wisdom of Indigenous peoples, we acknowledge our harmful colonial histories and commit to decolonizing our practices to learn new ways of being a community with each other and with the land itself. Today's service is led by Dr. Omega Burkhart, with music by Wells Lang, with Tony LaBelle, Wendy Hunter, and Michael Fausto, and special guest, Lisa Harrison. Please take a moment to silence your devices as we begin our services. Families with young children are always welcome in the sanctuary, and there is an additional play area for the very youngest in the narthex. Excuse me. For adults and older youth who don't need assistance, there's a quiet crafting table close to the organ over there. I have 4 brief announcements. Today is the last day to grab your old name tags. The old name tag holder and all the old name tags will be retired this weekend. So if you want to keep yours, get it now. Looking for a simple, meaningful way to put your values into action? Join the Share the Plate Committee. As a committee member, you'll help review nominations, connect with recipient organizations, and ensure that our giving makes a real impact. For more information, please contact Nadia Hillman or Taylor Chazen. Chalice circles are still accepting new people. If you're a member of Neighborhood Church and you're looking for a way to deepen your spirituality, or you're a committed friend and thinking you might want to be a member, stop by the sign-up table on the patio after service to learn more. Last announcement, would you like some closure about the changes in the religious education program here at Neighborhood? All are invited today after today's service to participate in a ritual honoring the closing of a chapter in spiritual exploration. This will be in the chapel at 11:30 after the service. After the ritual, Reverend Omega will answer questions about the program. Our order of service this morning is available as a link in the Sunday email and online by scanning the QR code on the back of your hymnal with your phone camera. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, an inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
And with that, we begin. I'm the Reverend Dr. Omega Burkhardt. I am a cisgendered, femme-presenting woman, just over the cusp into my 50s. I have silvering short hair. I occasionally wear glasses when I need to see. I'm wearing a blue robe with a colorful stole today that I got at General Assembly this past June. I use the pronouns she, they, or ella in Espanol. Today we gather to celebrate the art of the question, the act of living into curiosity and wonder and matching a word to it. The search sometimes reveals an answer, but more often than not, a question will lead us to further questions. Today is Question Box Sunday, or maybe I should say today is Question Basket Sunday. What this means is you have an opportunity to ask me questions and I will answer them right here. There are index cards available. There were some in baskets when you came in. They're probably still in baskets in the back there, pencils, etc. When you have written your question, I'm going to ask you to put it up here on the altar. Now we're going to do the questions at the beginning of the service. You will write your questions at the beginning of the service, and I will gather them, and in the second half of our service, we will answer. Now, if you're new today and you're wondering, how will this go? That is also a question I have. We will explore it together. What is it that calls you here, writes my colleague, the Reverend Monica Jacobson Tennyson. What is it that calls you onward, that calls you inward, that leads you homeward? What is it that gives you the power to make that change, to ask that question, to take that journey? What is it that says you have done well, that asks you to learn more, that brings you to stillness, that holds you up in hard times? It is a relationship that is at the beating heart of our faith. It begins when we share this hour together, our truths, this air, and our hearts. Come, let us worship together this morning. I invite you to a moment of centering as we gather in this space together, an invitation to sit with stillness for a moment, to breathe deeply in through your nose, into your diaphragm, and out. I will read this prayer to you, and then we'll have a moment of shared silence. Goddess, make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, let me know love. Where there is injury, healing, or doubt, show me reassurance. Where there is challenge, compassion. Where there is pain, rest. O Divine Mother, grant that I may not so much seek to control as to co-create, to be understood as to understand myself, to be admired as to be seen. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in questioning that we find answers, and it is in honoring ourselves that we live to our highest good. A shared moment of silence. Blessed be.
Good morning. Our gathering hymn is number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We'll sing this a total of 4 times, the first time in unison, and then if you'd like to sing in canon right after, you're welcome to do so. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing.
Lovely. At this moment in our service, I would like to do a few things. So first of all, I'm going to make sure if you have a question you'd like to answer, now would be a very good time to finish that up. If you're still thinking, there's time. And in just a moment, I'll invite you to kind of collect them at the aisles and we'll pull those together. I welcome questions from anyone, whether you are a member of many decades, or new, or young at heart. Please ask a question. And knowing the number of people here, we will not get to all of them. That's just a fact. I'd like to take this moment also to introduce to you someone special who has joined our team. As you know, we have, in the past couple weeks, had a few staffing changes, and I'm very excited about bringing onto our staff team our new Director of Lifespan Faith Engagement, Elle Moss. And Elle, you're here. Would you mind coming in and just giving a little wave to everybody? This is Elle. We'll have an opportunity, as you can imagine, to welcome Elle officially. Not that Elle is not welcomed officially, but to welcome Elle officially into our congregation. You'll have an opportunity to meet Elle and ask questions and get to know them in the future, but just wanted to introduce, so if you see Elle around, you know who they are. Also, as a reminder that was said at the beginning of the service, we're getting ready to retire those name tags. And I know some of you have a special feeling about your name tags and you have pins and whatnot attached to those. They're getting ready to disappear at this point. So please take it on your way out today, okay? All right, have we prepared some questions? Folks are ready? Pass them to the aisles. And then we'll come through, and maybe a couple of folks at the end of the aisle, if you feel like you are physically up for it. Audrey's going to come through with a basket too, and you can stick them in the basket there. If you are also willing in body to come forward, you can put it in the basket up here. Good, only 3 questions. We can handle this. Oh no, there are more than 3. Okay, well, we'll do what we can. Right up here, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you collecting those for us. Oh boy, okay. And next week will be question box part 2, and the week after, part 3. One of the other announcements that was given this morning is that Chalice Circles continue to invite people to sign up. There will be some folks on the patio after the service today to answer any questions that you might have about that. To hear more, we have a testimony today from Jenna. Jenna, would you like to come forward to talk to us a little bit about your experience in the Chalice Circles? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jenna. As you heard, I'm here to recommend Chalice Circles. I've been coming here for 9 years, and I've been a member for 7. And by my count, I'm about to participate in my 9th consecutive Chalice Circle. So you could say I'm a fan. And as I look around the room, I'm feeling like maybe a quarter of you have already been in Chalice Circle with me, and I don't have to say anything. But I guess for the rest of you, I got to keep going so I can eventually be in a Chalice Circle with everyone here. I joined my first Chalice Circle when I was new to neighborhood because as an introvert, I thought it would be a good way to meet people in a more manageable context than Sunday service. I was also new to Unitarian Universalism, so I thought it would be a good way to learn more about this faith tradition and the church and explore my spirituality in a more focused way. That all proved to be true. It's so true that I can't really imagine my church experience now without that little extra monthly boost that I get from going to Chalice Circle. It's become a habit, and I'm a creature of habit. Some things kind of stay the same every year, and I have to give a shout out to Lindy Lindemann, who I think has been a facilitator of every group that I've been in. I'm not stalking you, Lindy, I swear. It's my work schedule dictates that I have that evening time slot that she's always got, but now that's become part of the habit to be with Lindy every year. But what keeps me coming back is just, it's always new people, a mix of new and old people, or completely new people every year, and the vibe always changes a little bit, and that curiosity and exploration is kind of what keeps me being like, I'll sign up once again, because I want to see what it's going to be like this year. Sometimes we meet at church, some years we meet at other members' homes, which is fun. In 2020, we met on Zoom. Some years the group seems to kind of gel socially more than others, but I've never had a bad experience, and I've made so many lasting church friendships. Often it seems these days I'll be chatting away on the patio after church with a big group of people and look around and realize they're all in my Chalice Circle or former Chalice Circle friends. So that's kind of fun. But for me, it's best, Chalice Circle kind of feels like a mix between church and a book club and a support group. We always come prepared. We do the readings and the exercises on the month's assigned topic, and that kind of serves as the jumping off point for our conversations, giving a little bit of structure, but as we explore, kind of our beliefs and our values, we're also kind of using the month's topic as a lens to just share what's going on in our lives and think about, share what we've been thinking and feeling throughout the month. In monthly check-ins over the years, my Chalice Circle friends and I have seen each other through so much grief, illness, the pandemic, the fires, large and small joys in our lives. Start at the ups and downs and downs and downs of politics and more. And as much as I have learned from the curriculum materials, I've learned the most from just listening to my fellow members talk about their lives, even though that frequently means I'm listening with envy to their stories about traveling and hobbies, because often I'm the only non-retired member of my groups. I'm like, yes, I went to work again. That's all I got to say. So, participating in a Chalice Circle was really an integral part of my experience as a new member. But I've also been in groups with people who've been coming here for decades and are doing a cello circle for the first time, and they also seem to get a lot out of it. So I want to just encourage everyone to give it a try at least once, and if nothing else convinces you, I will end by saying that I believe that homemade treats are a major part of cello circle, and if you're part of a group that I'm in, I do bring cookies every time. Thanks.
What she said. Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of its contributions to 501c3 organizations of neighborhood church-based social justice activities that are making a difference, or neighborhood church-based social justice activities that are making a difference in the world. That is the common denominator. And I gave a little blurb earlier about encouraging you to be a part of the committee that selects these organizations if you want to have an even closer relationship to that. You can donate in one of two ways. You can use your cell phone to donate by texting the number on the screen. Point to screen. Or, if you'd prefer to donate in person, put your donation in one of the designated boxes during the music or after the service. There's one here, there's one back there, and there's one in the narthex. You may rise during the music to put your donation in the box if you wish, and extend help to those who might be seated around you who might have more difficulty getting to the box. If nothing else, they're in the middle of the row. If you wish to make a payment toward your pledge or contribute to church operations, make a note in the subject line or use the envelope available at the donation boxes. This week, our gifts will support Neighborhood Church's Esperanza service trip. To tell us more is Jen O'Haver.
Hey there, it is truly my pleasure to talk about Esperanza International. I don't know if you guys know much about it, but I wrote it down so I would say it right. It is a nonprofit that builds community and cross-border relationships through service, learning, immersion trips down to Tijuana. So basically, it's really an incredible organization. Not only does it help the local folks in Tijuana who are very, low-income families build homes and teach each other to build homes for themselves, but gives us the opportunity to go down and spend a weekend learning to build a home and be a part of that experience of creating that bond with them and learning about their lives and seeing the difference. And I think I want to share with you from a perspective of a parent. I've gone 3 times. Each time I took one of my sons, and to see your nerdy gamer kid, teenager, up on a roof catching a bucket of tar. I kid you not, in the hot Mexican sun, and then learning to tar that roof with the family who will live in that house, and then later sit at a table and share a meal with them that they cooked for you. Yeah, you can't beat that as a parent, right? Especially in this materialistic, consumer-driven country that we live in, and ethics and morals that we as Unitarian Universalists are trying to teach to our kids. Man, it's this kind of humanity, human experience that our children need. So I can't promote this organization enough. Now, when you go, you have to pay. So I pay to go, but our money that we give as volunteers to do this do not cover the costs. So Unitarian, the UU Church here has a specific fund for Esperanza. So when you give today, those funds go to cover the costs that aren't covered by our donations, and also for the scholarships needed for those who can't go, who can't pay. So that is my request, or my share with you folks. I thank you for your generous gifts.
What she said, and I would also add, there is no skill set too small, and it is very safe. We've been doing it for, 20-odd years under Trace's leadership. So give generously.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, it'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Well, you all weren't shy about the questions. So I'm going to do my best. I tried to group some of them together so that I can hopefully respond to several at the same time. So the first one I want to address is very pertinent for today, as a few minutes ago I introduced our new Director of Lifespan Faith Engagement, and someone accurately pointed out, wow, that's a heck of a title. It is a mouthful and hard to remember, and hard to understand. And the question is, how did that term come about? So first, I will remind you that today, after this service, we are having a special ritual related to giving thanks and grieving, and also appreciating the beauty of what our children, youth, and adult programming has been here in the past. And then I'm going to do a question and answer session specifically about that. So if you would like to attend that, that is your invitation. But I do want to answer it here because many of you might also have the same question. In short, and I'll go in more depth a little bit later in the other opportunity today, but in short, it represents a movement in the Unitarian Universalist Association towards faith formation, using the words faith formation, and away from just religious education. I don't mean just to belittle it, but it is an understanding of how we engage throughout our lives. Religious education as a term first came about when Sunday school was considered the norm, and that's something that we use as a shorthand right now. There's no problem with that whatsoever. But that was from a time when education was considered to be from a teacher to a child, and it was unidirectional, and it also taught about world religions and less about what people's experiences themselves might be in their faith journey. So in a movement, there's a trend towards using faith formation or faith engagement to describe that practice right now. So after consulting with some folks here, some members of this congregation who are here right now, staff, talking with some of my colleagues, we made the change because we want to understand this role as something that is responsive to everyone's faith journey in this community, not just our children and youth, but yes, also our children and youth. So the term is complicated, and you are welcome to say DRE, if that works for you. You are welcome to say the Director of Children's Programming. That works great. You're welcome to call it spiritual exploration, because that was a term that was adopted recently. That's just fine. But the official title is Director of Lifespan Faith Engagement, DLFE, and our staff, we're practicing DLFE, LFE, what is lifespan? So you are welcome to practice as well. But that is what the movement generally is towards that term. Okay, good. Let's move on. All right. There were several questions relating to the unity in the Unitarian Church. So how or why did the Unitarian Church become unified? Another question says, what is the purpose or significance of believing in the unitary God rather than a Trinity? And another question that says, our UU faith incorporates readings from other areas, Buddhism, mainline Christianity, and so on. So I've put these questions together to address them this way. Those of you who have studied a little bit about Unitarian Universalist history know that Unitarianism and Universalism have been around for many hundreds of years, and in many cases were heretical. We are heretics in the grandest sense of the word, and we accept that with great honor, because why not? That's fine. Feels good. Because what that implied was a questioning of what at that time was, and still in many places and contexts, is doctrine and dogma. And so the Unitarians could not find evidence in the God of there being a Trinity. The Universalists believed that there was a God who would not send everyone to hell. That was I am generalizing a whole bunch, but go with me on this. And so what that meant was that they were, originally both groups were Christian groups founded within the Christian tradition. Later in the 1800s or so, 1700s, 1800s, and the early 1900s, both religious groups started to experience some additional change with the influence of world religions, in particular with Buddhism, and also with understanding the context in this now called United States with indigenous experiences of faith, and also looking at other world religions. And so what happened was there became less of an influence of one central God and more of an understanding of God as being a broader relationship to something beyond us in Universalism in particular. And in the early part of the 20th century, these two groups realized that they had a lot in common, and I will say a lot of that they discovered was related to children's education. So Sophia Lyon-Fahs and others who really pioneered understanding what religious education, what effect that could have in the world, they realized that they had a lot in common, and so in 1961 they joined. Now, that doesn't answer the question of what is the importance of the unity. I can only answer for myself. So those of you who would know that we make this joke, ask 10 Unitarian Universalists what they believe about God, and you will get 11 answers or more. So I'm going to answer for myself how I understand the unity in this case. For me, and this will go into the next set of questions, God is that which I cannot comprehend and what inspires awe in me. I'm a religious naturalist. For me, that means the cycles of life. That means nature. That means how do trees know to make more nuts before it's going to snow a lot? I don't know. That's amazing to me, and that represents God. So for me, unity in God is understanding a very large picture of what is beyond me. That is our relationship, how we act to each other, how we live with our children and our ancestors, and everything in between. So for many Unitarians or Universalists or Unitarian Universalists, we do have Christian understanding of what that means. There are amongst us Catholic Unitarian Universalists, and you say, well, how is that possible? Because as a Unitarian Universalist, we can understand an inclusive vision of what that means. And this is something I often say in our New to UU classes. Religion is what you do together. It's the common accepted practices of being together. Spirituality is what you do on your own. So you might find your source of spirituality to be rooted in Buddhist readings, in Buddhist practice, or perhaps you do believe in a Trinity. And that is welcome here in all of the senses of your spiritual growth. As a group of people doing this together, we are Unitarian Universalist because we believe in the great unity of all of these as practices of ways to experience what is the divine. Okay. Good? Check. Change things up a bit. What's your favorite beer? And why? And then in parentheses, beer is my religion. Beer is what we do together. For those of you who do not know, I did have a previous career. It's still part of my research love, which is the history of beer, because the history of beer is the history of religion. I make no joke, that is actually the real deal. You could not have religion if you didn't have beer, and you couldn't have beer if you didn't have religion. And I'm currently researching a little bit. I'm actually in the process of writing a book. If you want to really geek out about that with me, please do. Many of you know I preach on beer, especially at Halloween, because it's pretty witchy. Come on. It's got a big cauldron. You got to love it, right? In short, my favorite beer, boy, I love an amber lager. And California, y'all don't make a lot of good lagers out here. I don't know how to tell you this. A good German lager, perfect. Love it every time. It's clean. Oh, the next part was why. It's clean. It doesn't have the esters and phenols that IPAs do. Okay, I'll stop next. All right, let's take a moment. We're going to listen to some music, and then we're going to come back for the second round of questions.
put a pebble in my shoe and watch me walk. I can walk. I can walk. I shall call the pebble down. I shall call the pebble down. We will talk about walking. There shall be carried, and when we both have had enough, I will take him from my shoe, singing, meet your new road. Then I'll take your hand. Finally glad that you are here, by my side, by my side, by my side, by my side.
May I ask a question to our tech folks? Does that look like it's going to be possible? Okay. The questions aren't just for me. Could you pull up the first slide there and let's practice? Get out your cell phones, please. You get to answer some questions from me. Now, we're using a thing called Mentimeter here. Is there a way to pull up the QR code for that at the beginning? Or if you could read off the quote, or the number, I'm sorry, the access code. It should say at the top. In the meantime, go to your browser of choice, Chrome or whatever, Google you use, Safari, and go to Menti, M-E-N-T-I, meter, M-E-T-E-R, Mentimeter. Was there an access code at the top of that page? I'm sorry, I'm asking our tech folks. There should be a way to enter an access code here. Maybe not. There's, yeah, or the QR code that we can put on the screen. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's answer a couple more questions here while we get this pulled together, okay? George, I didn't write this. How do we get George Shearer to accept a lifetime appointment as treasurer? Sounds good. For those of you who don't know, George is our treasurer, and we are so thankful for his service. All right, I'll answer another question while we pull this up here too. This person writes, I am a member of a different faith community. We strive to share our love, faith, and service. And what are your best practices for growing your community? This is a really interesting and beautiful question, and I want to address it by saying first, Unitarian Universalists are notoriously poor evangelists for Unitarian Universalism. With love, I say that. Many of us come to Unitarian Universalism from other faith traditions, not all of us, but many of us, where we have experienced some hurt or harm or something that did not fit. As a consequence, many, not all, but many Unitarian Universalists come into our faith with excitement to be part of a faith tradition, to find community, but are less reluctant to talk to other people about it because they don't want to be seen as that person that talks about that church that they may have been harmed in. And that is a reality for many folks, certainly not all. That's part of it. Also, Unitarian Universalism, because we understand ourselves as growing in our inclusivity, in our broadness, that means we're also doing a lot of work on the inside, interior facing, both personally and also as a congregation, to understand what that means in a changing world. And we don't always get it right. We have an uncomfortable relationship with the concept of radical hospitality. And for many of us, that means just opening our doors extra wide as opposed to going out into the world. Now, having said that, we have a lot of folks who do a lot of work in our community who are related to social justice work and otherwise, and really showing up, putting our faith into action. I will also say that one of the ways that we as Unitarian Universalists really understand growing our community is starting with a vibrant community here. Start with vibrancy here, and that attracts people to be here, as opposed to growing for growth's sake. We don't understand growth in the same way. Our hope is not to just grow our church. Our hope is to create vibrancy and life and nourishment here. And that'd be great if people join us. So there's a little bit of a different understanding there theologically of what growing means. Looks like we're still working on it. That's fine. That's fine. We can keep going here. Oh, some folks were typing that in, it sounds like. Oh, they're making a QR code right now. Okay, they're making a QR code out, so just hold tight. We'll get there. That's all right. I'll continue to answer deep-rooted questions of faith. Does my nose ring have special meaning for me? Yes, it does, which is I am honoring my inner young teenager who always wanted one, but I didn't feel like I could. And so part of it for me, as I grew in my adulthood and my comfort with myself and my body and my self-expression, it was something that I made a plan to do, and I did, and it is honoring that child, young adult in me, who was like, yeah, but was too nervous to do the thing that I wanted to do. So yes, it does have meaning for me in that way. Other questions here. Let's see, I spoke about religious naturalists. Oh, here's a good one. Will we be having any reading groups here? And the question, what are the books and what will we be doing? Just recently, in the past week or so, we've engaged with the board in some conversation around having another common read this year. Some of you will recall last year we had a common read book, a Psalm for the Wild Built. Some of you engaged with that. And it was scheduled to kick off in January, right when we had other community commitments. And so we read it, we discussed it, but we didn't get into a reading program. This year, we'll be engaging with a book it's a guide for social change, sorry about that, from Deepa Iyer, recommended to us by Lynn Miyamoto, who is a member of our board. Also, Deepa Iyer was at General Assembly this past year and has created an opportunity for people to engage in a workbook for investigating how we show up in the world for social change. And so we're going to be talking more about that this year. We'll be engaging with the text in a couple of different ways, both in some small groups and some larger contexts. You'll have an opportunity to purchase that book at a reduced price. We'll get a reduced fee for that if we order in bulk. I'll give you some information, but you can look up Deepa Iyer, a guide for social change. Will be one that we do as a group read. Okay. This question asks, what is my favorite poem and why? Next week is Poetry Sunday. I invite you to return. There we go. As many of you know, I was a professor of Latin American literature before becoming a minister with a specialty in poetry. I'll be talking more about that next week. As soon as this thing came up on the screen, everyone just went, so go ahead and fill that out. You should get to, it'll say open in Chrome if you're using your phone camera. If you're not using Chrome, I'm not exactly sure what the words will be, what it says on your phone. And it should take you to Mentimeter to a quiz. Did you get a quiz? Okay. Okay, go ahead and work your way through the quiz.
Do we have to sign up?
Hopefully you should not have to sign up for that. You should just be able to answer directly. How are they doing, Ginger? Are they answering the quiz? Ginger's looking a little bit like the teacher walking around the classroom right now. Okay. I'll go ahead and answer another question while those of you are engaging with this QR code. There were a few questions related to what will happen in the future. Will people be happier in 100 years than now? And then another question related to the use of AI and what that means about human interaction with AI. Now, I'm putting those two together. They're clearly different questions, but you'll pardon me as I group them together. My opinion on whether or not people will be happier in 100 years, I think we will continue to struggle with the deepest human needs of what it means to be a human in the world. I think we will struggle continually with what it means to be in community, as parents, as caregivers, as in a changing world. Some would say, are we happier now than when we were 100 years ago? I'm not sure. I think those basic things stay the same. However, I will say I have some pretty grave concerns about the state of the world right now, as I'm sure many of you do. And I think all we can do is work hard to make that experience, our dreaded fears, not happen. So I do worry about that. So will we be happier or sadder? I'm not sure. I suspect the core things will remain the same. And then the use of AI, this is a really controversial topic. I think that there are ecological implications. I think there are ethical implications. And also I do think that it is a tool that can be used for good. And so I am all over the map with that. What does it mean about goodness and evil? I think it can mean everything about goodness, and it can also mean everything about evil. And so I think we're in a developing time where we're going to see a lot of change very, very fast about that. And so the reality is I don't have a good answer, but I do think it can be used like any tool for good. It can also be exploited for evil. Okay, do we have any results yet, Andrew? Let's see what we got. All right, is a hot dog a sandwich? They only went to the first one? Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Describe NUC in 3 words: welcoming, inclusive, community. For the record, is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes? No? Describe sandwich. And I have no idea what's happening right now. Okay. Okay, sounds good. One answer, somebody said of course, okay. Okay, we'll try this experiment another time. I want to give time Do we have answers for any of the other ones? Okay. Okay, well, we can do this. We can do this one. You're most likely to use this phrase when, and it's amen to that. Okay? The Dodgers win? I know. The Brewers are doing pretty good, too. Reverend Omega's sermon is only 10 minutes long. Your favorite parking space is open when you get here. And you remember all the lyrics to Spirit of Life without using the hymnal. Okay, so several of you. All right, we'll try that experiment another time. We'll come back to these. I can share these in the newsletter if you want to play. Maybe next week we can go. At this moment, I invite you to engage with us in our closing hymn.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, Spirit of Life, number 123. Let's see if you know all the words. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla al volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Amen to that. We came today seeking some answers, and perhaps we're leaving with more questions. Cherish your doubts, for doubt is the servant of truth, writes Michael Schuler. Question your convictions, for beliefs too highly held strangle the mind and its natural wisdom. Suspect all certitudes, for the world whirls on, nothing abides. Yet in our inner rooms full of doubt, inquiry, and suspicion, let a corner be reserved for trust. For without trust, there is no space for communities to gather or friendships to be forged. Indeed, this is the small corner where we all connect and reconnect with one another. May it be so.
Want to come join us?
As As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, children, let's go down, come on down. Oh, children, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying